Sri Kakodkar, Professor Joshi, President of Marathi Vidnyan Parishad, Dr. Umesh Kumar, Gaikwad, Sri Deshpande, and my dear young students. As a lifetime teacher, I am always very happy in the presence of students. Makes me feel very young. Uh, Looking at all of you and looking at your bright eyes, you may not pick up many things that are being spoken here, but even part of it you take home, it will make a big difference. How should I start? I want to start by saying that the genius prefers homogeneity of an individual than heterogeneity of a group, by which I mean innovations come from individuals, gifted individuals who have passion, who have endurance, and who are not afraid of doing something unusual. These are the characteristics of innovative thinking. And how this innovative thinking changes our lifestyle, I'll give you some examples. You all know that originally our radio used to work on valves. All you young kids would have never seen a radio with valves. Then came transistors. Did you realize what kind of innovative thinking went in coming out with transistors? There was transistor revolution in India, now gone, because next thing has come. And now you have artificial intelligence and you have just speak into the microphone and you get answers through artificial intelligence. You take diagnostic. How one used to check pulmonary disease. So when X-rays came, it was a major breakthrough. Everybody in the villages even knew this thing called X-ray. But it is now overtaken. It's still useful. But go back to the innovative thinking which brought in X-rays. Today we have MRI. But you must know that MRI came out of nuclear magnetic resonance spectroscopy, which area has fetched 5 Nobel Prizes. When it first came, anything very original, when it comes first, people have very funny ideas. I will give you some example that how an innovator is harassed. But innovator is the person who has endurance. I'll give you some examples. And coming back to diagnostics, when people came out, Dr. Kakodkar would be very happy to, when came out with radioisotopes, and Madame Curie got 2 Nobel Prizes, you should see what passion she had. How, as an individual with very limited resources, came out with such outstanding. Today, in our daily life, we find these radioisotopes. Today, you can find online flow of blood into the heart, and with the software, what is the flow rate of blood into your heart, to what extent your heart is functioning. How an innovator is harassed, why that person's thinking, his or her thinking is so unusual. Let me give you 1 or 2 examples. When Michael Faraday, the greatest innovator, who didn't have much formal education, he used to work in a book binding shop. Michael Faraday, the greatest innovator. And he came out with the concept of electricity. And like you are having demonstration experiments, Royal Society used to have this annual display of original experiments. And Michael Faraday gave this demonstration of electricity. And the chief guest was equivalent of our finance minister, Mr. Nehru Science Centre. And he came out with the concept of Chancellor of Exchequer. Oh, he was very pleased to see this. He said, Michael, so this is all very good. But what good it is? He said, sir, very soon you will be taxing it. Now just see the birth of electricity, electrochemical processes. How original was the thinking of this single individual? I keep on repeating that the genius prefers homogeneity of an individual. In chemical industry, I want to give you one example. One of the greatest innovative company was DuPont in America. And they hired a person from Harvard and gave him complete freedom to do something very original. Don't worry about its application. See, when you do original research, you don't know the application. I gave you example how nuclear magnetic resonance, how radioisotopes, so many things. Today, when you see your mobile phone, have you realized how much innovation has gone in this mobile phone? Everybody has the best example of all-round progress. Everybody has. India has more than 1 billion. But please think for a moment, right from display to this, everything was out of innovative thinking. So Carruthers, who was hired by DuPont, was given carte blanche. Do something original. You know what was the result of that? You know that item, all of you know that item, nylon. Nylon revolutionized because nylon also gave birth to polyester. Imagine if polyester fibers was not there, how a poor lady would be wearing a very good sari in India. But what innovative thinking went? Lot of this innovative thinking comes out of crazy individuals. You always think that this fellow, sometimes you might say, is a crackpot. If you don't give freedom and the ambience, innovative thinking will not come. You require ambience, freedom. Because unlike what many people and politicians think, you never hear this word that politicians support fundamental research. But I want to quote recent statement of President of China, who happens to be a chemical engineer. He said China should intensify its work in fundamental research so that we do not import technology and we are on our own. So fundamental research plays a vital role in innovative thinking. We have only one institute in India, whole country, where the name fundamental comes in the title, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. No other place. And you rarely hear about support for fundamental research. If you don't have vigorous support for fundamental research, innovative thinking will not come. So many people are now putting up tinkering labs and all. See, repetitive work is easier. And you can, in a way, guarantee, give an input. But doing something very original requires a different set of mind. Because contrary to thinking of many people, research is not a very structured activity. Because you don't know the result. You know result only for repetitive work. So many times, what is it like? It's like a random walk in a blind valley to find out whether it is really blind. So innovative thinking requires very different makeup. So you young kids, when you want to become an innovative thinker, now innovative thinker can be science, technology, even in creative writing. How many people who have got Nobel Prize in literature, how original was their thinking? So innovative thinking is across the board. You take sports, those who have got this innovative idea, they succeed. So it's a kind of a habit that you have to cultivate. We can give you many examples of how. Let me give one brilliant example out of India. Raman effect only science Nobel Prize in India, Raman, C.V. Raman. If you see the apparatus on which he worked, which is still on display in Indian Association for Cultivation of Science in Calcutta, you will be amazed to see that such outstanding work came, but it came out of innovative thinking. And his looking at sky and that why sky is blue, all that resulted in Raman effect. What has been the effect of this Raman effect? You young children, you will be most surprised to find that one of the applications of Raman effect today is in airports for security. That you make use of Raman effect to find out untoward problems associated with travelers when they check up the luggage and all. Raman was a very innovative thinker, and nothing would deter him, no matter what people say. I gave you example of Faraday. Everybody quotes Einstein. I gave you our own. In fact, there are many other examples. You take in the area of botany. We had Professor Maheshwari in University of Delhi, who did some original work on tissue culture. And it's a very original thinking. And today, what impact tissue culture has made in agriculture, you have to see. How breakthroughs are coming in agriculture, not genetic modification. Even without genetic modification, one of the most outstanding example was how C22 carbon atom containing rapeseed oil, that plant was converted to give you C18, which is called canola oil, equivalent to groundnut oil or sunflower oil. This was by normal modification of agriculture. Our food security would have never come without very original thinking. So innovative thinking is crucial. Keep in mind that progress doesn't come in a linear way. Progress comes always through discontinuities. And I've given you example of how from valve-based radio to transistors to now CDs to whatnot, they are all discontinuities. They're not linear paths. And discontinuities come only out of innovative thinking. Last example I want to give you of how people, I don't want to give you more example of chemical industry with which I happen to have somewhat more familiarity, but I want to give you this example of this very crazy individual who has made such a major impact in the world. And this is called fracking. So when you have oil underground in the, whether it is limestone or whether it is sandstone, very small percentage of oil comes out, 20%, 30%. If you do the fracking is fracture. Today, availability of crude oil in the world has become so great. America, which was importer, has become exporter. But this crazy individual, people used to laugh at him that he's doing this work on fracking, and how this fracking has made such a world of difference. This is again to illustrate that you require very different thinking, very original thinking, and people will laugh at you. So I remember a great innovator producing a cartoon that is like a hall, theater where you have mezzanine floor and all. All the mezzanine floor is occupied by cops having gun. So they are pointing the gun at that innovator. That here is an individual, crazy individual talking nonsense, not realizing how much sense is there in this fellow, and that all then sing praises of this man and then put him in Hall of Fame and all. And this was cartoon given by one of the innovators who had this unusual thinking. So boys and girls, I want to cajole you that it's the right sort of age for you to think differently. Take music. When people have thought differently, they come out with wonderful tunes. have come out with wonderful music. People who are innovated on instruments, whether sitar or sarod, came out of original thinking. So whatever passion you have, without passion and endurance, there is no scope for innovative thinking. I wish all of you a very bright future. Keep your interest in science irrespective of whatever other profession you might follow. And best wishes for you.